fours. And I wore this red shirt because it was sort of a Christmassy color, but it's a bit warm. Take it off. I do have another red shirt underneath, so in the spirit of things. So we'll come on to hands and knees. Tuck your toes, and just do a few hip shifts back and forth. Inhaling backwards, exhaling forwards. Go as far back as you can, as far forward as your hands and wrists allow. A couple more. And then we'll morph this into a bit of a bird dog core challenge. So next time you shift back, I'm just going to slide back because my wall's in the way here. Come forward, reach your right arm, left leg, pause, get taller, and then put those 2 points down, shift back, come forwards, reach, other side. So inhaling backwards, exhaling forwards. Back and forth. Okay. And next time, say your right arm is forward, left leg back. Let's try shifting this. So we'll hold it, get steady, but then play with the angles. Lean back into your right back hip. So your hip leans way over to the right diagonal, right back diagonal. And then point your right arm to the left forward diagonal. And you go over that way a bit. And then we sit back in the right hip, hitting my plant. Yeah, and then we go forwards to the left high diagonal. Last one. So it's not going to be perfect. We're letting ourselves move a little bit, keeping in a good core position. I mean, maybe it is perfect. I don't know. It's just that it's perfection, but we're moving through space. Hand down, knee down, shift back again. Just take the load off your wrists and then forward again, other side. So left arm, right leg, get tall, get wide through your shoulder blades, lean into the left back pocket this time, and then over to high right, left back, lean, front right. So it's like your arm is a little bit of a pointer as you go right, and your hips the pointer as you go left. And one more to the right high, and then we steer that to center, put the hand down, the knee down. Let's do 3 cat cows. So exhale, round your back. Inhale, arch, tailbone up. Exhale, curl and round, chin down. Inhale, arch. Last one, curl, arch, and then find center. We're going to pop the knees in the air in a second, coming into a downward dog. So as you exhale, we'll just shift back into a bit of a stretch of the legs. We're going to come down to the hover, but today, just to change it up a bit, once you're hovered back, you can just lean your heels, steer your heels to the left, and just sit down on your left hip. So you can take your right hand in the air. I should have mentioned that before we did that, sorry. So you still have your feet there. Just, excuse me, press up. So you lift your left hip, you sort of swirl around, spin back to center, do a quick downward dog, stretch the hips back, come down to a hover position, let your hips lean to the right, heels to the right, yeah, heels to the right, and then you just take a seat, you do a little, like you're taking your hat off, you bring your arm out to the left, and then you swing your left hand back, swing the hips up, down dog, and if you want to try that one more time, so we go down, turn, sit, and actually the sitting part, you can just, take the pressure out of your hands. Spin back, spin up, and then spin down. You can almost combine it into one move. And last one, spin your hips right up to your down dog. Stay there this time. And then we'll walk our hands and feet towards each other. We'll pick which one you want to do there. Maybe not both at the same time. And then we'll roll up to standing, coming up one vertebra at a time. And I'm just going to shift my monitor while you do that. Okay, so you can stand. Let's do some, you can't really see me too well. Hopefully that's okay. Do some marching. So just pick up one knee, opposite arm, and switch. Just take a quick march. So you can inhale for a couple nice full breaths. Exhale for a couple. You can start to really, like you're tossing a ball or maybe a water balloon at someone with the reaching arm in the front. So palm up, and the arm behind can sort of spin the other way. So let's go for 4. Keep tossing the ball. 3, 2, and 1. Let's finish with the right foot, your right foot down, left knee will come up. Feel free to hang on to something if you need a little assistance for balance. And we're just going to kick this shin in and kick it out. So the knee will stay still. And we're just swinging this shin in and out like we're kicking a hacky sack. And we'll go for 5, 4. You might feel some work in the hip out there. 3, 2, 1. And then let's bring that knee behind, maybe not behind us, but beside the other knee. So it's like we're doing a hamstring curl. Turn sideways here. Same exercise. You may, if you're like me and you're a little tense in your hip flexors, do a slight pelvic tilt just to make yourself neutral pelvis. And then same idea, kick the heel in and out, in and out. So it's internal and external hip rotation for 5, 4, keeping the pelvis even. Woo, 2, trickier than it looks, and let's give that a rest. And you may actually feel work in the stance leg when you do these, so that's a good thing. If you feel a little bit of a burn in your side hip, that's your glute medius doing its job. So other leg, stand on your left leg, pick up your right, hips are even. So if you pick yourself too high and then you hike up, you may want to just lower the knee a wee bit. Just do about 10 of these, in and out, in and out. Keep the foot nice and parallel and flex. Try not to move this part of your leg like this. So this knee, it's like it's glued against the wall. So it's just the shin, kick, kick, kick. There's a little ball, a hacky sack. Okay, pause. Squeeze your glute to get your knees side by side. You might have to lift your pubic bone towards your navel, keeping tall on your spine. And same idea, kick in and out. This one, it's hard not to do this. It's kind of fun to do that, but try to keep for your core to have a little bit of work. Try to keep your sternum and your navel aligned. It's almost impossible, but we try. For 5, 4, and you might feel that burn in the left hip. 3, 2, and relax. And just shake that out. Okay, so I would suggest, or I forgot to say what props we needed today. Sorry, guys. If you have a yoga block or a book lying around your house, just grab that. We will also be using later, if you have a band, a towel lying around your house, I'm sure you do, or a yoga strap type thing for later. But for now, we'll just grab something like this. Stand on your right leg again. I suggest for the first one, you could just put your other foot a little bit behind you as a kickstand. So just a little bit of a toe kickstand. You may not need it, but let's start with that just so you get the choreography. Bend your right knee, nice and deep. You're still vertical. Take the block in your left hand. And what you're going to do is think of it as a magic wand. So you're going to swoop the wand across and down to touch somewhere out to the baby toe side of that foot. Okay, and then you just swing it back. We're going to take it to a high diagonal, kind of turning a little bit, but don't let the knee go with it, your standing leg. So you bring your wand around, you touch the floor. Good, and then you inhale, you swing it back. If you want to make this harder, you can hold the block in a different spot so that when you touch it, you don't. You have to go lower down to the floor to touch it if you want to work your hamstring and glutes a little more. If you have the flexibility for that. The other thing you can do is you can certainly lift your back foot. That's quite a bit trickier. So you have different options there. So you can vary how you're holding the block. So if it's a little hard, I would just make it longer. Especially, it's not so much a question of being difficult, it's also the hamstrings. You're keeping the knee bent the whole time, both knees bent. And of course, you can use a kickstand or not. So let's do a couple more. So you should get a nice sense of length and the work in your right gluteal region. Last one, magic wand down, and then up. And then we'll center that, straighten that leg, give that leg a shake out, maybe the other one as well. And let's switch to the other hand. Okay, so I find with this one, because we're moving so quickly, I prefer the longer hold. I don't know if you have a hard block, it might be hard to hang on that way. So just do what works best. Okay, so bending your left knee, let the foot spread. The toes as a kickstand, your right toes, open the arm, and then we'll reach across, turn your pelvis a bit. Your navel's turning into your left inner leg, and then swing your wand backwards, spiral across. You might get a nice stretch in your inner left hip here. So turn, dip down, stick out your hip, and then inhale. You just keep the knee bent. This is a tricky part. It's easier to straighten the leg, but we'll keep it bent. So inhale, we swoop down. Exhale, we turn. Swoop down, touch. Knee over the big toe pretty much the whole time. Pelvis turns in to the left leg. Pelvis turns away from the left leg. Let's do 2 more. You want to try no toes as a kickstand, you can. Ooh, harder. Last one. Dip down, cross over, spin, open the arm back, and then we'll square ourselves off, put the right foot down. And we're going to go back to our mat again, so you can just put your block down. You can roll down, walk out into a little bit of an elephant or downward dog. From there, we'll come on to the hands and knees. And from here, actually, I'll face you so you can see me. Let's take a seat, mermaid position. Just change my monitor, I had it set for standing. Yeah, so just sit in your little mermaid. And if this is uncomfortable, make any adjustments. So let's say, which way do you have your knees there, Karen? I can't quite tell. Do you want to go this way? Yeah, okay, so I couldn't quite see where you had. So to your right. Okay, the back foot is tucked in. If this is unpleasant, you can always prop yourself up. It would be your right hip that would even things out if you want to slide a block or a cushion under there, or just straighten your legs if it's intolerable for your joints. Okay, so walk the fingertips out, side bend. So inhale, reach the left arm. We go down onto the elbow, which might lift this hip a little bit, but we're trying to keep it fairly steady. And then we go up and over to the other side. Be kind to your knee on this side. So we go up and over. Inhale, long reach. Exhale over, left side reach. 2 more of those. Nice soft landing. Think of a cat landing. Okay, now the next one, let's pause in the middle. Before we go to the long side, this time we'll keep the arms straight. So just like an airplane sort of turning, land the hand. Now the other palm will face forward. We're gonna try to thread the needle type thing. So as we exhale now, scoop this arm, lift your back hip and turn threading under to your back right. And then inhale, swoop that arm and we get a little bit of a chest stretch as we open back. So 2 more of those. Exhale for the turn. Lift your left hip a bit off the mat and the left hip returns to the floor as we go back. Last one, rotate. It's like we're rotating around a skewer. And then open back. Great. We come back to center, come back to the middle. You can put your hands in front. Excuse me for the frog in my throat. And try this. We're gonna lean forwards. If it's comfortable, press forwards. You might want to make sure you're on your mat for this. Let go of the mat, squeeze your hips forward, hinge body forward, hips back. You can put your hands down if you wish. You may not need them. And if there's another option, if that still doesn't feel quite right, you can put your hands on either side of the knee, sort of test out the waters, come up, whatever helps you. And if you don't need your arms, you could cross them here. You could be like this, whatever works. So basically it's just a hip hinge, down and up, with or without hands. The main thing is just to get used to the position. And then once we're up, the last one, if you're okay in the up position, let's swivel the shins the opposite way. So when we sit down again, knees are to your left. Let's try the Little Mermaids. So reach the arms. And this side I definitely feel tighter. So I'm just gonna adjust my hip there. So we go over to your left, elbow lands, and then up, use your waist muscles, and then inhale for the stretch phase. So there's a bit of a controlled, you're slowing down against gravity as you go into the landing phase, especially right about here. That's where your core has to work. And then it has to work a little bit on the pickup too. Okay, and then let's finish with long arms. We'll do the lean to the left. Spread your fingers, get your shoulder blade down your back, palm forward, right palm forward. Threading under, you can soften both elbows and bring your belly with you. So the belly button turns, your hips turn, your core turns basically, and then inhale, we rotate backwards. So turn from your pelvis. It's not actually spinal rotation so much as a whole torso rotation. Well, it's both. Last one, so the pelvis starts the rotation, the spine follows through at the last bit. And then we'll open that up and then we'll ease out. And then we'll just do 5 of those coming up and down. If that works for you, you can always modify and just do a little one. Or you could even do kneeling if you want and just like coming out of a kneeling and sitting back towards the shin. So up and down with or without the hands. You can do whatever you want. Even prayer hands might be nice too. It's always satisfying. A couple more. And it gets easier as you do it. So that as the joints start to loosen and the tissue around the joint. So last one. Great. And then just lean off to one side so we can swing our legs out in front of us. I'm not sure where everyone's going to be sitting in their mat. So we're going to do these, it's called washing machine hips. It's a very kind of a fun little old exercise. So you can basically, if you need to go backwards like me, or you may have to go forwards, but either way, just pull one hip back and then the other. And let's go into prayer hands to try to stabilize the upper back a bit. And you can do flexed ankles. When you get to one end of your mat, reverse. And we're trying not to slide. We're actually picking up the whole leg using the core. Suddenly the mat seems very long. That's it. It's like walking without legs. So you have to use this, basically the same muscles, except lacking the, obviously the hip extensors. And then we go back. So it's a little more core work than we were walking. And let's just go to one more round here. So we end at the back of this mat or the front, depending on which way you started. Try to pick up the heels. I just started to get lazy there. Okay, we're all done with that. Relax the arms. We're going to scoot forward onto our backs. You can have, if you have it at home, a couple weights. I'm sorry I didn't announce it, but if you don't have it, don't worry about it. You don't need them. And we'll just roll down to relax on our back. And if you do have that yoga block or a book or something that you can put between your knees, let's do that. It's just acting as a spacer. Heels underneath the knees. Get comfortable. There should be a little bit of airflow at the back of the knees. Okay, and then neutral pelvis. Pelvis is roughly flat, roughly, in terms of pubic bone to navel area. And then just do some pelvic tilt. So as we exhale, tip the pubic bone or the tailbone towards your chest, relaxing your waistband into the floor. And then inhale, roll it the other way so the lower back comes off the floor. So you have that nice little gap there. So exhale, we rock under, belly melts down, sitting bones get narrow. And when you inhale, you rock the other way, the sitting bones spread out a bit, so it's easier for the pelvis to tilt forwards. So basically you need a little more abdominal tone when you curl and a little less abdominal tone when you arch and tip forwards, right? And just do that 2 more times. It's just a nice way to get the pelvis moving so we have mobility in our hip joints and the lower back. Okay, so with that, come back to your neutral pelvis, nice and flat. Hands behind the head, interlace your fingers, elbows up so you should be able to see them in your peripheral vision. Nod your chin down like you're hugging a little orange under your throat. Big breath in. And as we exhale, we're going to bend forwards, curl up and over the bottom of your sternum so we can lift the head and curl up and over. Inhale at the top, and then we roll back down. And each time, let's add one more option because you're all familiar with these. So nodding the chin. Second time, as we curl, and we hit the top of the curl, let go of your head, but reach out like you're offering something, 2 cups of tea or coffee to someone. So palms up, scoop your fingers up to the ceiling, hold there, and then put your hands behind your head, still in your neutral pelvis. And then we roll the head and knuckles back down. So let's do one more like that. Nodding the chin, curl, blow the air out at the apex of the curl, reach so much so that your shoulders get slid down away from the ears. Then scoop up, inhale, hold your head, bring it down. Okay, changing it up again. The next time we go, let's curl. This time, pop your heels in the air and pull with the balls of your feet. We haven't lifted the knees yet. Inhale, let's just go back down. We'll go a little quicker. So exhale, curl, lift the heels a little tiny bit. And like you're pulling, like your feet are stuck to Velcro. Last one, like this, curl, pull with the balls of the feet. Heels are up like you're in stilettos. Maybe, never been in stilettos. Now we do 3 more, but the knees can come right up. But start with that idea. So curl, heel lift, pull on your mat so you get your core working, and then it's easy to lift the knees because you've already done the work. Inhale at the top there, exhale, put the balls of the feet down, the heels down, let's rest the head. So let's do 2 more like that. So curl, get the foot slide with the heels coming up, or the foot pull, then fold without lifting the shins, just the shins just come along for the ride. Inhale at the top, and then lower the balls of the feet, the heels, resting down. Last one. Exhale, curl, heels pop up, do the little pull on your mat, and then fold at the hip joint. Inhale, hold here. And now we're gonna hold, and you can either hold for 3 breaths or flex your feet. Do 5 little heel taps. If that feels too extreme, point your toes so it's less far to go down to the mat, or just do single leg is fine too. Just take the block out, of course. So last one. And then let's put both feet down. Oh, enough ab work. Rest the head. Take that block out of there. And what we'll do, just stretch a little bit after that. Arms out to the side, palms up. Let's bring our inner thighs together. I'm just going to move these weights out of the way, sorry. And let both knees tip to the right, and just gently turn your head to the left. Exhale, let's rock everything back. Inhale, knees left, head right. You can be quite light on that bottom foot. Exhale back, couple more. Inhale right, ribs turn, head turns the other way. Last one, knees left, head right. And then we'll bring it back. Great, and then we'll just separate our feet a little bit. If you want, if you do have weights or maybe a couple water bottles or something, you can grab those. These are very light. As I say, you can do all this without it too. It's just a nice extra if you're at home and have them. Okay, so we'll do our bridges. We'll start with the elbows on the mat, palms facing in, with or without weights. And we are going to do a bridge. So feel where your feet are. You're going to roll the pelvis under, so pelvic tilt, this time more with the hamstrings, and then peel your spine right up into the air. So the pelvis presses up, the heels are firm, the toes are long and connected, like long eyelashes feeling their way through space, because the toes are important. Okay, so from here, let's press the arms up in the air. And we're going to inhale, open the arms out to the side, soft elbows, and then exhale, close. I'm just going to move away from my reformer. So inhale, open and close. We just hold our bridge for 3, in and out, building a little endurance in the legs, 2. Last one, both arms up, hold, and then just melt your spine down. Really let it roll and articulate 1 vertebra at a time. Good. Once you land, turn the palms forward. Inhale now, just pull your elbows out to the side like a two L shapes on either side of us. So your elbows will be maybe as low as your shoulders or a tiny bit lower if you have a lot of shoulder tension, and then press both arms back up. So we'll just do 4 more of these. So it's just a pull, like a chest press, and then press straight up, almost 90 degrees at the elbows as you land. Okay, so last one like that. Keep the elbows down now. Roll up into your high bridge, okay? And now we're going to press both arms up again. This time, do a pulling pattern. So turn your left palm in and pull that elbow down as you punch your right arm up, and switch. Left arm punches up, right elbow pulls down. So there's a little bit of a turn in the palm angle, fairly obvious. It's like you're punching the ceiling. And when you land the elbow, the palm faces in. You're not as wide as that previous exercise with the landing of the elbow. So we'll just go for 4. It's like a pulley, like you're pulling something down from the ceiling. If you don't have any weight, you could just use your fingers like you're grabbing something from the ceiling and really pulling. You can get some good finger and grip strength work. So just do a couple more with whatever you've got there. Okay, and then we'll finish with both arms up. Let's inhale, turn the palms forward, arc the arms back in a wide V shape, not quite touching our mats, and then roll the spine down 1 vertebra at a time. And once you're there, you can just open the arms, let the weights, if you're holding them, melt, just drop them off onto the floor. And let's fold the knees into the chest. You can rock it out a little bit. And why don't we stretch the left leg out on our mat, nice and long, and relax, but it's a little bit of activity. We're lengthening, we're trying to stretch the hip flexor. Now the right knee is tucked in, so the low back should be on the floor, if all's well. Let's fold the forehead to the knee just for a second here. We'll stretch now the back of the right leg. So you can just grab a hold of something on that leg, maybe the calf or the ankle, wherever you can reach, that's easy. And we'll just point both feet and flex. You could even hover the left foot for a little extra. I'll move my sweat. I didn't realize my sweatshirt was in the shop. 3, 2, you can always hold your head with this, 2, 1, and then rest the leg, rest your head. Now bend the right knee again, but this time we're gonna add one more thing before we switch. Grab it with your left hand on the outer right knee. Right arm will rest on the floor to the right. Palm up is nice. Now take that right leg and you're going to rock it across to your left slowly and gradually let yourself tip and rotate until maybe your right foot might touch the floor. If you want, you could stop there. You could even let your left knee touch the floor and just bring that right arm across like I'm going to do and just right over onto the left side as well. So now everything's on the right side or the left side. Inhale, reach the right arm up. Now, as it approaches the floor, it won't touch it unless you're very bendy. It might for some of you, I don't know. And then we try to rock back back to where we started. So again, keep the right arm down as long as you can. Reach the right leg across. You just drag it across. Hopefully, we're getting a nice hip stretch. Maybe your foot touches first. Then maybe your knee comes down slowly. Then your right arm probably gets just dragged along, and you just flop over onto your left. Last one, inhale, open that arm back. You get a chest stretch, turn your head, face the ceiling, bring your right knee back up, then your foot up, come back to center. And then with that one, we'll stretch that right leg out on our floor, compare the 2 sides briefly. And then let's pull the left knee to the chest. Okay, we reach long through the right leg, lower back on the mat, ribs tucked in. Okay, we'll do our walking up a tree. So you can walk your hands up your leg, split stretch. Shoulders relaxed, nod your forehead to your chin. Forehead to your chin, that's not what I meant. Forehead to your knee. And then we'll point and flex both feet. You can feel free to add head support, neck support. 5, both feet can point and flex. 4, 3, that's it. 2, 1, let's walk back. Bend that knee, right hand will grab a hold of the left knee, left arm to the left. Bring that knee across, gradually getting a pull into the left glute. Find the floor with your foot, the knee, and bring the left arm across. And then you reach up until you just can't go any further without your knee coming up, your foot coming up, and you land back where you started. So drag it across nice and slowly. Slowly the foot touches, the knee touches the arm. And return. Arm, core takes over, and we end up back on our back. And then you can stretch that leg out, both arms out to the side, just do a couple of heel rocks. Jiggle yourself back and forth. So we're in the sagittal plane, forehead, ribs, pelvis nodding and arching. And then relax all that. Let's flip over onto all fours so we can do our transition to our bellies. I'm used to teaching 45 minutes now, so I've got to get back into the swing of the 30. Okay, so we're on all fours. We're gonna do a push-up. So that means I would suggest going a little wider with the hands, just a little easier to access the chest muscles, which are quite a bit more strong than other parts of our arms. Walk your knees back. So you're in a leaning plank, kneeling on our knees plank is what I'm trying to say. Index fingers straight ahead, eyes of the elbows forward. Lift your core in, and then we know what to do. We just bend our elbows and we come on down. Now here's what I propose. We're going to open the knees out to the side for this next one. Heels together, but they're in the air, straight up in the air to the ceiling. Flex your feet like a duck or a turnout position. Okay, now this might, for some of us, if we're very tight in the front hips, like me, your butt will be in the air. So squeeze your hip flexors down, your hip crease down. And the grand finale for this one, skip it if it's too awkward, but you can bring your forehead to the floor. Because what I'm going to ask us to do is exhale, lift not just your abdomen off the mat, not your pelvis, just your belly and your front ribs, which is actually quite a bit of core work, and then relax that. So plop it back down. So exhale, tuck your hips. Can you lift your front ribs up? Now, once you've done that, or approach it, push into the mat. So you come up into a plank or come up from your belly onto the knees. And then inhale, we slowly lower. We'll just do 2 more. If this is too awkward, you can do a regular plank. That's fine. This is just to avoid the buckling in the low back that often happens. So if you exhale, if you can get your ribs off the mat without having your pubic bone and your forehead come off at the same time, then push. Because what often happens is, if we're given the opportunity, we will either stick our bottom out or we'll arch in our weak spot. So if you can get the rib connection first, get your core working really hard first, it's already done its job. So by the time you do your push-up, you can't really fail. I'm not saying it's easy, but you can't fail. And then we come on down to finish that last one. Stretch your legs behind you. You can bring your forehead onto your hands. And then we'll do a double leg lift with a forehead float. So we breathe in, prepare, just relax your elbows into the mat, shoulders down. Exhale, pelvis sinks down into the mat, but this time the forehead floats up and the legs. And then we ease back down. Try 2 more of those. So pelvis goes down, forehead and legs float up. Imagine you're being pulled in 2 directions. Ease back. Last one, we'll stay up. So float up, hold. And then let's slither the arms behind us, palms up. Look a little bit ahead across your rooms and just reverse 100. So arms straight, bring your thumbs close to your body and pulse the arms up and up and up, like we're pulsing for whatever reason, kind of like a reverse, like we're slapping the ceiling instead of pushing down, we're pushing up. So inhaling 4 more times and exhale, pick up the speed a bit. Try to keep the body fairly steady. Keep the arms nice and close and press them high. 2, 1, and then let's bring everything back. Get that push-up position. If you want to try that one again with the knees wide, let's finish that way. If you prefer a regular push-up, go for it. Heels tucked in, squeeze them together. Forehead down. Again, this is all optional. This is the extra bit. Exhale, pubic bone tucked under. Lift the ribs, so you're in a good rib canister position, and then drive your hands into the mat. Perfect plank. Put your shins down. Bring your knees closer together. And then we'll sit back in a child's pose, any version that you prefer. I'm going to have my arms a little bit out. Just take 2 or 3 breaths, get settled. Let your neck release. Maybe shake out any tension, wiggle a bit if that feels nice. And then we'll slowly roll our way up, 1 vertebra at a time. All right. So thanks very much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day and have a great holiday. Stay safe.